Hello, I'm Kim, and I'm an artist.
This is another one of those paintings that's kind of something I painted for myself. My brother inspired this painting. He is a marathon runner, in addition to many other things, of course. But one of the things that people note about him is that he runs marathons very successfully. And he mentioned the Netflix series Three Body Problem. There's the notion of the staircase project, which was a project where they were trying to reach an entity far, far out in space, much farther than they'd ever been with a rocket before. And they designed a rocket that would propel a sail using a series of small, tiny nuclear explosions. So, all these tiny little explosions theoretically would eventually get the sail all the way to this entity. He was comparing his process of preparing for a marathon to that staircase project. And that really set an image in my mind of these little explosions leading up to like a big explosion.
And wherever I'm sitting, I sit next.
Real quick, I really love a black background, so I thought I would show you how I made this one. Spoiler alert, there was no black paint involved. For the first layer, I intuitively chose paints that were dark in value but a little lower in the saturation scale. I ended up using Payne's Gray, which is a very dark bluish gray, burnt umber, yellow ochre. Then I added Prussian blue to make sure it did have a little bit of life to it. I wanted the second layer to be brighter, so I used colors that were still dark but a bit brighter than in the first layer. Alizarin crimson, Prussian blue, and a bit of yellow ochre. In the end, this layer is really more of a near black purple. I let some of the first layer show through the second layer, so some patches seemed farther and some seemed closer. This gives the background a little more dimension. The two layers blend together optically, so it's probably not super obvious, especially through the camera, but when you look at the painting in person, it just feels deeper, more interesting. I decided to use supernovas instead of a typical explosion because, first, they are the biggest explosions humans have ever witnessed, and they are very bright and pretty to look at in pictures. And second, when a supernova occurs, they produce the materials that form new stars, planets, and living things. Essentially, they are instrumental in creating new realities. Our dreams and goals inspire us to create new realities, and every small step we take along that path changes our world bit by bit. I chose to use supernovas to represent this because nothing in nature really holds more potential than a supernova explosion.
Mostly anything that's really exciting about life, anything that we really, really want to dream of for ourselves requires these tiny steps, almost imperceptible steps, things that feel like this isn't doing anything for me, I'm never going to get anywhere. But in the end, they add up and they lead to this really big achievement. And even though I already had a lot of big projects going, I knew I really wanted to do this painting. So kind of squeezed it here and there in between the other projects. And it was a good reminder for me along the way to keep moving on those projects and lots of other things going on in my life.
Let this painting be your reminder. Keep going. Take that next step, and then the next after that, no matter how small that step feels, because one day...
Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you next time.